All right, welcome back to Golf Subpar with Colt, Knost, and Drew Stoltz. Another signature event is in the books, and Russell Henley just continues his great play. An unbelievable finish. Chip in for eagle on the 70th hole. Ends up shooting 11 under for the week to beat Collin Morikawa by a shot. By far, his biggest win of his career. Now, 5 wins in total, up to number 7 in the world. Was unbelievable at the President's Cup. Looks like he is going to be on Keegan Bradley's Ryder Cup team up at Bethpage.
Yeah, unless it falls off the map, which I don't foresee happening. Doesn't hurt also that Scottie Scheffler loves to be paired with him, which makes a lot of sense given the golf that he's playing right now. But just, I mean, week as a whole, just a proper golf tournament, huh? We've done a lot of bitching and moaning about scoring. Everything's 24 under. It's too easy. PGA National just got lit on fire. Like, we hated it. We got proper golf this week. Firm green. I mean, the greens they might be dead. They might have been hanging on just from fertilizer that last day. I mean, they were like purple, white, balls were bouncing. There was rough. You missed the fairway. It was a problem. At the end of the day, 11 under wins. Incredible to get to 11 under, by the way that golf course played. Only 2 guys in double digits. It was just a fun golf tournament. I mean, Collin Morikawa, man, he's had some tough, not closing out tournaments where he's had 54-hole leads, but you got props to Russell Henley, dude. He's a guy that plays hard golf courses really well. He plays all golf courses well, but a hard golf course, he ball strikes it to death. Man, hell of a chip in on 16. Got to see the last half of it.
Yeah, that was an interesting moment where they came back from commercial as the ball was already rolling, which happened to be the shot of the tournament. They gave him a 1-shot lead. It was the second 2-shot swing in 3 holes between Russell and Collin Morikawa. But yeah, man, Collin, it's tough. He's playing great. Like, he shot even par on a very difficult golf course with some tough conditions. We didn't get the wind thought we were going to.
Yeah, where's that weatherman at?
Yeah, had a 3-shot lead with 9 holes to play. Obviously, he didn't birdie the par 5 16. Russell had some great stuff happen, but it's crazy to think Collin hasn't won since the 2023 Zozo. I mean, he's been right there, it seems like, every single week. It kind of reminds me of the stretch Xander Schauffele went on, and then all of a sudden, bam, 2 major championships.
Yeah, not a bad comp. And when you hear Collin talking about his game right now, he's like, I'm back to like 2020 levels of ball striking, especially with his irons. He's like, the flight, the amount of cut that he's getting, he loves the way his golf game is right now, and why wouldn't you? And it's like, I don't know if that's one that he lost. He had a 3-shot lead, but I mean, that golf course, if you were just fractions off. We saw guys shoot low scores. I mean, look at what Keegan Bradley did. I mean, 29 on the front, goes and shoots 8 under, just skyrockets up the leaderboard. If you're playing great golf, you could do it. But if you were just fractions off the tee with your irons, putter, whatever it was, I mean, that place exposed you quick. And so even par that final day is like, it ain't the worst in the world, but tip your cap to Russell Henley. That chip goes in. By the way, if that chip misses the hole, it's rolling by probably 10 plus feet, and things could look a lot different, but he did it.
Yeah, I know it's exactly the way Mr. Palmer would want it. He wants to identify the best player. He wants it to be set up extremely difficult. I mean, I wish we had more of these on the PGA Tour. I love seeing these guys tested. I love seeing when they hit it in the rough, they get punished. And we saw guys from 150, 160 yards on 18 pitching out sideways because of the pond there on 18 and how nasty that rough is. It's just such a great test. It's a very hard, very fair golf course. And normally the guy you don't really fake it around Bay Hill. You're not going to slap it all over, and your short game is probably not going to win it for you. You got to ball strike it around there. And that's what Russell Henley did. I love his move. His golf swing is so simple. Hits those little bullets off the tee out there that were running way down there. And since he switched to the claw a couple years ago, working with Phil Kenyon, he's a different player on the greens now.
Yeah, I mean, the strokes gained, the approach has been spectacular for a while. It's strange because, like, at Georgia and coming out, he was an unbelievable putter, like all world. Then it just went backwards for a while. Now he switched, and he seems to be back putting the way that he used to. But his golf, there's just no holes in that golf game. He's not like weird length off the tee. He's like mid 170s ball speed, which is long, but it's not superhuman long like a lot of these guys. But just a rock solid golf game. And yeah, I don't know that he's slam dunk Ryder Cup, but he's about as close to the slam dunk as you can get at this point.
I believe he's up to 4th now on the points list. I would expect him, especially after the run him and Scottie Scheffler had at the President's Cup. We had Keegan Bradley on our SiriusXM show today talking about one of the matches he sat out, went and watched Scottie and Russell play. They were 3 down through 6 and ended up winning on 16. Like, they really play well together. Probably going to be a team up at Bethpage, I would think. But congratulations to him on just an awesome week. This is a big-time win for him. Like you said, quietly up to number 7 in the world. He's coming, man. He's 36 years old. Everything seems to be in really good order right now for Russell Henley.
staying on the Ryder Cup for a moment, Captain Keegan with that little 8 under the final day, up to 15th in the Ryder Cup standings, which is just 3 out of 12, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of big tournaments left. It's too early to start the debate, but it's fun to start it anyways. He's playing damn good golf right now. If he goes and has a big week at one of these, at a major signature event or something, it's going to get interesting coming down the stretch.
Yeah, ended up finishing tied for 5th. Was 11 back to start the day, then was 8 under through 10. Set the front 9 scoring record, shooting 29. Looked like, man, if he could post 8, 9 under, you never know what could happen with all the train wrecks that can happen on the back 9 at Bay Hill. But he's playing great, man. He's making it interesting. Probably making it, honestly, a little stressful on himself because he's got to talk about it all the time.
That's what he needs is more stress to thinking about the Ryder Cup. Because we talked to him today, he's like, I literally just can't stop thinking about, all the things going on in my life. Ryder Cup captaincy is like the thing that's first and foremost on my mind. Maybe somehow like it's sneaky, like knowing that he's a part of it and maybe a bigger part of it as a captain than a player almost makes it easier to go play good golf. Because he's not, it's qualify or bust. It's like, I'm going to be there in a big way regardless.
Yeah. Also want to give some love to Carl Phillips, picked up his first PGA Tour win. Also the first win for Sunday Red, Tiger's clothing company. They recently started sponsoring Carl. Went down to Puerto Rico, shot 26 under, won by 3 in just his 4th start ever on the PGA Tour. I believe his 3rd as a member. But really cool. I've heard a lot about this kid from Australia. Ton of talent. Went to Stanford, and now he's a winner on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, stud Aussie, was a world-class junior player, world-class at Stanford. A lot of hype around him going forward. Like you said, just his 3rd start as a member on the PGA Tour. Probably the guy you're going to see while we're talking team competition on the President's Cup going forward, I would think. Aussies coming with some young talent.
Your favorite, the Aussies.
I love them. I love them.
Also, Logan McAllister won on the Korn Ferry Tour, went from conditional status to now a full-blown member of the Korn Ferry Tour, up to number 6, has a chance to get his PGA Tour card at the end of the season now. And also Stephen Alker, who won on the PGA Tour Champions just for the 9th time.
Him.
No big deal. Our man who lives just down the street here, one of the best. He is killing it out there on the PGA Tour Champions. And then Sergio wins over on Liv. This is 2 wins in his last 7 starts out there. Playing some nice golf, trying to make Luke Donald take notice and possibly go up to Bethpage, kind of where a lot of it all started for us.
That's
Sergio.
where he got the most hate of all. That's kind of where the crowd. That was during the regripping era, which was tough to watch. But he got interviewed after that win and was asked specifically about the Ryder Cup. I mean, he makes no bones about it. He's like, "Look, it'd mean everything to me. I'm doing everything I can to be on this team. I'd love to contribute the way I have in every other team that I've been on." And he said, "I know for a fact Luke Donald's paying attention because he and I have been communicating." So, I mean, if he keeps going, it's early on that too as well. But there's a world where Sergio, Rahm, and a guy that you and I are both super high on, David Puig, could all be on that team.
Tyrrell Hatton is going to be on that team.
Yeah, Tyrrell as well, of course. I'm just Spaniards. But, they got some dudes going over there on the European side.
All right. Well, as always, we are traveling a ton. I'm heading up to Vegas shortly to play some Shadow Creek with my man Monty and some boys for a birthday party. I'm going to try to do it, but there's only one way my clubs are getting there, Sleaze, and that's Ship Sticks.
Without question. If you travel, if you play golf, there's no other way to do it. I just had a couple buddies down from the great city of Chicago, showed up, clubs on the range, played golf for a couple days, time to leave, left them in the pro shop, see you guys later, boom, clubs are home. There's just no other way to go about it than to do it with Ship Sticks. Like we've said before, once you do it once, you're never going to do it again. All you got to do is schedule your shipment, attach your label. Ship Sticks handles the rest. They deliver your gear directly to wherever you want it to go. And right now, Ship Sticks is offering our listeners 20% off your first shipment when you go to shipsticks.com. Use the code SUBPAR20. You go to shipsticks.com, use the code SUBPAR20, 20% off your first shipment, and save yourself the hassle this golf season. That's SHIPSTICKS.com. Make sure you use the code SUBPAR20 so they know we sent you. Change your life. Easy as pie.
All right, well, now it's time to get zoned in with our friends over at Zone Nicotine. You love it. You got the 6 and the 9 milligram right now down there. I see it, but I want to get zoned in on something very special, Sleaze.
Oh, here we go.
Because, there's a lot of talk in sports about, dynasties and all this. The Kansas City Chiefs were going for the Chief Pete recently. Obviously, we saw what the Patriots did for all those years. I'm here to tell you there's a new dynasty in the world of sports, and it's Colt Knost and Chris Demon at the Whisper Rock member, because over the last 2 years, you know how many people have beaten us? 0.
How many? I bet you're going to tell me.
0. Back-to-back champs. We actually tied this year.
Yeah.
3-way tie. Okay, because
yeah, back-to-back chance tied, but you didn't lose.
Did anybody beat us?
Hey,
nope.
Who are you talking to?
We got a trophy.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of cash. We're the champs. Okay, but I got to tell you how it all happened here. Because of the weather, it just ended up being a one-day Stableford shootout. We go out there, it's going all right. 2 under through 4. We both made a bad bogey on one hole, but it's going along okay. Our last hole, the 9th hole, par 4. My man drives it down there, has 100 yards left. Hoops his sand wedge for an eagle, 6 points, wins a skin, ends up tying for the overall, and led us to being back-to-back champs next year. Looking for the three-peat. We were zoned in, and now all the talk around the world of sports is, are we the newest dynasty?
Chris Demon, the wedge specialist. That's what he's known for out there. All right, so you talk about the Chief Pete. What are we going to call it?
I'll come up with something.
If we get to the 3.
Maybe some people on our social handles out there throwing a little idea, but Colt knows Chris Demon, what this dynasty could be called.
Yeah, let's get some ideas in there. And let's pile in about 3 or 4 20s into the self-suck chart, which is what we do here. Well earned.
Colt, Demon, CD. Now you CD?
Now you don't. Now you don't.
Because we're at the top of the leaderboard.
Well done. Well done. In dramatic fashion, too, by the way.
Dramatic. It was fantastic.
They're going to write books about that.
There was a celebration that didn't go quite as well as we would have liked, but you know what? There's no evidence of it.
What is that?
So there was
what was that? I may have heard about it.
There was a chest bump that didn't go too well, and I ended up maybe on the ground because I was fully amongst it, having a wonderful time, and my balance wasn't quite what it should have been.
Dean came in with a little more velocity than you expected.
He's been working out.
Yeah, he is. He's been in that gym.
A lot of fun. Demon, you're my guy. We're champs again.
Congratulations. Pickle dish at the crib.
Yeah, more importantly, we got a lot of other people's cash.
Yeah, well, of course. Career earnings.
All right, well, speaking of making a lot of cash and hoisting trophies, Thomas Detry is back again on Subpar after his amazing week at the WM Phoenix Open, where he just ran away from the field. He made everything he looked at with his Odyssey putter, and Odyssey isn't just the #1 putter brand. It dominates around the world. It's the #1 putter on every major tour. PGA, LPGA, DP World, you name it. And it's not #1 by a little either. Significantly more tour pros play an Odyssey putter over the next closest competitor. So it's no surprise that Odyssey is also #1 in worldwide wins and #1 in money earned. They know performance matters, and they know Odyssey delivers it. See what it can do for you at odysseygolf.com. And welcome back to Subpar, Thomas Detry.
All right, a lot has changed for this man since we last had him on Golf Subpar. He picked up his first win at the WM Phoenix Open. He's up to 23rd in the official world golf rankings, in a very nice position as well for the European Ryder Cup team. And the hair remains perfect. Thomas Detry in the house. Thanks for being with us. No hat. I respect it.
Yeah, clean look, you know. Thanks for having me, guys.
I love it.
It's been a full year, so it's been a full year since I was last on the show. So it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a year. Picked up your first win, like you said, in dominating fashion by 7. But as we're recording this right now, it's the week of the Cognizant Classic. Why aren't you teeing it up this week?
Well, I mean, I just mentioned it to you. There's no reason to mention it anymore. But yeah, I mean, I played that tournament twice in a row, and I finished there last, I think, 2 years. And the last 2 years I played it, so I had this infamous 6-putt or 5-putt from 6 feet last year.
Yeah.
That was it was good.
Well,
it wasn't planned, but it was. And then 2 years ago, I had a nightmare of a tournament. I even think that I withdrew as well, and I don't think I've actually finished the tournament. So, fortunately, Palm Beach for me is a no-go for me anymore.
That's all right.
I don't blame you. That place does it to a lot of greats.
It ruined Sleaze's career.
Yeah, took me into the podcasting game.
Yeah, but on a serious note, you've come so far. You're really starting to turn into the player a lot of people thought you were going to be. But I got to ask, Mark, if you could help me here a little bit. If I would have asked this young gentleman back here on the screen,
bam,
if he was going to ever win a PGA Tour event by 7, what would he have said?
I mean, look at that picture. I cannot believe it. Honestly, I'm a bit offended. I kudos to all the peoples out there who have never changed my Wikipedia page.
I mean, yeah, well, where's your agent on this thing? Like, it's about time. You're a good-looking dude. You know, this is like you're 13.
You know, I can even remember that picture was taken when I think I was 15 or 16 years old, and I just won the Dutch Open, and it was my first event. That's how I looked when I played my first ever DP World Tour event in the Netherlands. It was the KLM Open in 2008, I think, something like that, and that's how I showed up on the first tee.
It's
was
beautiful.
it right after you stuck your finger in an electrical socket?
Yeah, at that time I was only shampooing my hair about once every month. So yeah, that's why I looked at that.
Oh my God, it's so good. I hope they never change it.
Yeah, someone on your team, get a hold of Wikipedia, go over there and change that picture. There's a nice one of you holding a rather nice trophy from the WM Phoenix Open, and we got to talk about that week. It's one of the craziest weeks on the PGA Tour, one of the most fun weeks in all of golf. I mean, the biggest crowds you see all year. But just take us through the week. Did you feel something coming along that week? Have you always liked that golf course? Do you like that atmosphere?
I mean, honestly, I love it. I've always played great on 16 for some reason. Last year, I was 3 under on the 4 days on 16. I finished top 25 last year. This year, I played 16 great again. Don't ask me why. I kind of embrace it. You know, you kind of have to show up to that week and just, I mean, like my coaches say, just embrace it. You know, it's part of the challenge. Some guys don't like it. I mean, I love it. And to be really honest with you, I'm going to tell you a little story. I mean, I was on the range on Tuesday. First of all, it was my fifth week out of 6. I was pretty tired. So even in Pebble, I was kind of thinking, you know what? I might take Phoenix off and get ready for the Genesis because it's a big week. We're back to Torrey. I was kind of thinking, you know, I might not play. And then in the end, I kind of decided, you know what? It's a fun week. We've got everything settled already. Let's just go. And I remember taking Monday off. Tuesday, I showed up on the range at like 4 p.m. kind of thinking I'm going to do a light range sessions, and I start chunking my shots, and I was all over the place. I call my coach who was in Riyadh with Meronk on live. It was 3 a.m. for him. He wakes up, looks at my swing. Obviously, I was all over the place. I was kind of tired with the lower body and everything. Anyways, he gives me a little tip, fixes it, and the rest is history. I mean, it was kind of you can ask Nick Hardy about that story. I was literally having breakfast with him on Wednesday morning, telling him how shit I was feeling about my swing in my game. And then, I mean, golf is just a crazy game. I mean, but that's kind of the little story about Phoenix. And, you know, I found a little tip. I was kind of playing great, you know, the last couple of weeks. I was kind of in good form, but not really like on top of my game, and I just felt a little something, and I was just confident the whole week.
What was the tip immediately? Yeah. We need this, as does everyone listening.
I mean, this is really stupid, but I have the tendency of being like kind of long and a bit behind, and all I was trying to do is be like short and wide. So I was just trying to that's what I was thinking, just kind of like keep my left arm straight and be as wide as possible. That's what I was thinking, and I was just striking it, honestly.
Short and wide.
Yeah,
it's a good way to be.
Heard of it?
It's a good way to be.
just like Colt, you know?
Yeah, short and wide.
I wasn't going to say it.
It works, especially in the wind.
It works.
Just saying, exactly. Wind doesn't bother me.
All right, that's what I'm doing next time I play. But I want to ask you, because your last win prior to Phoenix individually was 2016, the Bridgestone on the Challenge Tour. Given how long it had been since you made your way into the winner's circle, did you have any doubt on that Saturday night, waking up Sunday morning, about how you'd handle that situation with the lead?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I almost became, I talked to my wife about it, and I talked to psychologists. It almost became like, because I do put myself in contention a lot, you know, like my game is solid, and I feel like I felt like I had the game to win, but then every time I was in contention, I was kind of feeling nervous, and I was not really feeling comfortable, and obviously I failed a couple of times. So it almost got to the point where I was like, almost reluctant to put myself in contention. So I remember feeling days where I was just like playing well and getting going on Friday and thinking, oh, here we go again. I'm going to be in the top of the leaderboard on Friday evening, and I'm going to shoot myself again on the weekend. So that thought literally creeped me in my mind, and it was a very horrible thought to have. I mean, just the idea of almost the idea of wanting to make bogeys just to make sure that you're not in contention and you play in the weekend with no pressure. You know, it did creep in my mind, and it's not a fun place to be. But I managed to kind of overcome that, and it was pretty cool to sealing the deal and to getting it done in Phoenix.
I appreciate how honest you are about that, because I actually listened to an interview you did after winning, and I remember you saying that, and it shocked, because I don't think I've ever heard a PGA Tour player actually be honest, be like, you know, getting in contention, it's hard. Like, I actually didn't want to be there because of the way you feel. But now, I mean, I feel like you've changed so much mentally over the last few years. Coming out of college, you were known as this freak talent, but you had a little bit of a hothead. And it seems like everything has kind of changed for you in the last year or so.
Yeah, experience is big in golf, and I mean, yeah, I was a hothead. I was a hothead when I started on the Challenge Tour, and on the DP Tour. I've kind of calmed down a lot. I think I don't know what it is. I think it might be experience. It might be just my game getting better, like trusting the process. All these things kind of mixed together. I mean, some guys, it takes 6 months to figure it out. I mean, you look at Ludwig. I mean, it's incredible. It's his second year on tour, and he looks like he's been around for 15 years,
Well,
it
he's
took me a
not
little
human.
time, but, it's yeah, I've kind of, I don't want to say I've got to figure it out because you never have it figured out, but I'm starting to put the puzzle together.
Yeah, I just want to ask real quick about, he mentioned Saturday night, Sunday morning, because in my opinion, I think that's the toughest time. When you're away from the golf course, you have this big lead going into Sunday. And I, like you said, you're much better at it now, but just take us through Saturday night. I'm sure having your wife and kids was a big help, just kind of getting your mind away from it. But even trying to sleep that night, waking up that morning knowing, okay, I've got this big lead. Like, this is mine to lose.
Yeah, I mean, it was, that up and down on 18 on Saturday was big. I remember hitting it. I hit it in the right bunker on 18, and I was kind of bad lie, ball above my feet, kind of chunked it. Didn't leave myself with a good angle. And I really took my medicine, and I hit it to like 15 feet, kind of trusting my putting. I've been putting well all week, and I made it. And it kind of put me in a good spot. But yeah, I mean, back to the routine again. You mentioned my wife and my kids. Like, having a bit balance at home is so big. If I was just alone in my hotel room, it might have been a different story. But back going home, picking up the girls from daycare, putting them to sleep, doing the whole routine, I think kind of puts my mind away from that 5-shot lead, which helped. But I was definitely nervous. I mean, I didn't sleep great. I'm going to be really honest. I didn't sleep great. I remember waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning on Sunday morning, kind of obviously having your mind that rushes a little bit. I mean, it's human nature. You kind of think, you kind of imagine all the worst case scenario. You imagine what if I get off to a bad start? What if I blow it? What if someone should stand under? You have all these little negative thoughts that kind of creeping in, and I was able to. I think I've mentioned that in a couple of interviews, but I was able to do a bit of meditation. Only 10 minutes. You got all sorts of apps now on the phone which you can do this with. And it takes 10 minutes, and it kind of helped clearing my mind. And I think that really helped because for some reason I was nervous Sunday morning. But then as soon as I got through my routine and warm up and meditation, I actually felt pretty comfortable on the first tee, which is pretty nice.
All right, before we get back to our interview with Thomas Detry, some big news. We got some new merch for all of you out there. You can now shop branded Subpar gear at shop.golf.com, and you get to call the shots. You choose your gear, your favorite logo, and even your go-to brands. Choose your style, pick your favorite Birdie Juice logo, and shop from a lineup of top-tier brands. From polos and hats to hoodies and more, we've got the gear to match your vibe on and off the course. Tons of options, fully customizable, and all dripping with Birdie Juice swagger. Don't wait. Hit shop.golf.com and snag your Birdie Juice gear now.
Drippy. It's easy to use. We're terrible with computers. You just go in there, you pick what you like. If you got a favorite brand, snag it, pick your favorite logo, boom, straight to your front door. Doesn't get any easier.
Shop.golf.com. Back to Thomas Detry.
I want to go back to something you said earlier when you talked about the stress of being in contention. You said, there's times where it's like on the weekend and I was hoping I would make bogeys just because I didn't want to deal with being in contention. Can you think of any specific time you felt like that, and what's happened to change it to the point where, like, not only do you want to be there, but you thrive when you're there?
I mean, I remember a clear memory of that was BMW PGA at Wentworth. I think it was 2 years ago. I was doing well. I shot a low round on Friday, and I do really clearly the BMW PGA at Wentworth on the DP World Tour. And I really remember on the Friday having a good round going, shooting 6 or 7 under, and just kind of thinking about that, and kind of almost like dreading the weekend. And yeah, it's just not a fun place to be in because you're almost just playing for a mid-table leaderboard, kind of content with being top 30 because you're kind of having a stress-free weekend, and you kind of playing your own game and not really thinking of the consequences. And I was I was just really struggling with that. That was the best memory that I really have. I mean, it creeped into my brain a couple of times, but not as bad as that particular week. I remember having that. But I feel like I've just matured and got better. I slowly by putting myself in that position, I remember feeling more and more comfortable on Saturdays. I had a good Saturday in Maui for the Century. I remember being in contention there, and that thought kind of never crept in. I had a bad Sunday start, but I remember being comfortable on that Saturday and kind of realizing like, oh, you know what? I feel like I'm making progress, because instead of feeling uncomfortable on Friday, now I'm feeling comfortable on Friday. I'm feeling comfortable on a Saturday, and then Sunday comes. I still have to put the puzzle together, but I saw progress. So which was very comforting.
Yeah, and on Sunday, I mean, you put the thing to bed. It seemed like pretty early. You took a 5-shot lead, turned it into 6 at the turn. It did get down to 3 for a second, but I want to know about that final stretch. I mean, 15, 16, 17, and 18, 4 of the most exciting holes on the PGA Tour, and you go out there and you birdie them all to win by 7. But the tee shot on 15, so impressive. But I think everyone wants to know about 16, because that's the one hole location on that green at the back where you can get in some trouble. And we tend to see guys play really conservative, but not you. You went in there and you hit it to about a foot. But just take us the moment, birdieing 15, walking through the tunnel over to 16, and then getting up there and just getting ready for that 9-iron you hit on 16.
I'll take you to that moment just before that. I think it all started kind of on I was kind of in the zone, kind of pretty comfortable. I played 11 really well. I obviously birdied 11, which was a big hole. I had quality shots into 12, 13, and then I kind of out of nowhere, I 3-putt 13. I was really comfortable at that time. I was kind of thinking, okay, this is in the pocket, and then out of nowhere, I kind of 3-putt 13, Berger birdies 13. So suddenly I lose a shot there, and then I drive it right on 14, and then I'm like, okay, like here we go. It's kind of crunch time now. So I do great up and down on 14 for par. Daniel actually chips it in for par as well. And then there's a couple of key tee shots there, and I think the tee shot on 11 is big, but then the tee shot on 15 is massive, with that little breeze downwind. If you hit a good shot there, like obviously you hit it left, it's wet, it's no good. Right, there's desert. If you hit a good tee shot there, you're coming in with a kind of 6-7 iron into the screen. So suddenly it's like, it makes a big difference to that final stretch, So I smoked it on 15, birdie 15, and yes, 16 was incredible. So Berger just makes a good putt for birdie on 15, so he actually has the honor on 16, which was key, because I remember showing up on that tee. I think we had something like 180 yards to the flag, and I was kind of thinking little 8, really hard 9, and Berger kind of traps an iron low draw just in front of us, and in the air his ball looked perfect. I mean, looked really good, and you can see the ball just going one bounce, boom, over, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, it might not be a hard 9, might not be, definitely not an 8. And I tend to have a high ball flight with the iron, so for me it was kind of a perfect normal 9-iron. I didn't have to like press on it or whatsoever. It was just kind of a normal high 9-iron. It was holding a little bit, and it was just perfect. I mean, you can see it almost landed actually on the same spot as Berger did, but it kind of went one bounce check, and I think I was definitely trying to play for a little bit short, but I think the adrenaline kind of took over and got that extra couple of miles an hour, which it clearly pitched a little bit further away than I wanted to, but I'm not supposed to say that.
And then you played to the crowd a little bit. Told them.
Yeah. I mean, people were shouting USA. I could feel it. I mean, I'm just this young Belgian guy that nobody really knows about, and everybody wants Berger, everybody wanted Spieth or someone to make a run at me, and I was kind of pumped up. I was like, here we go. This is my moment. This is kind of a little FU sign to everyone saying this is my week. Nobody's going to take it away from me. So I really felt it was a pretty cool moment. I don't want to say it was a Ryder Cup moment, but like people were I could feel like people were like not cheering for me, but obviously people wanted Berger to kind of make a final push and make it interesting all the way until the end. Which is normal. I respect that.
When you give those fans some attention out there, that's how you get them to love you going forward. If you acknowledge them, rile them up, they love that. So kudos to you for doing it. When you look at the final winning margin, it looks like, cakewalk, 7 strokes. I'm sure there were times where it didn't feel like that, but I want to go back to early in the day, because there was a time where Scotty Scheffler was out there on the front 9 making a bunch of birdies. He actually ended up missing a very short birdie putt on 9 that would have made it really interesting. But were you watching the leaderboard at any point, namely Scotty?
Honestly, I didn't watch anything. I was just kind of in the zone. I kind of promised myself not to look at a leaderboard, and I never looked at any board. I wasn't even looking at our small leaderboard with Berger and who was the third one in my group, and Rasmus Højgaard. I was just never looking at anything, and I just had the sense of Berger was kind of creeping up on me, but I still had this kind of margin. But I won by 7, but then it never really felt like it was a 7-shot margin because I remember I watched some of the highlights, and on actually when Berger makes his putt on 15, and I'm still having to putt mine, the lead is only 2 by then. If I missed that putt on 15, and obviously Berger made his, if I miss mine, suddenly it's like a 2-shot lead with 3 holes to go, and we all know like 18 is a tough hole, like 17 is horrible pin position, 16 you hit it long, it's game over. So it's like actually wasn't really a 7-shot lead. It was kind of a. But anyways, I mean I think that shot really sealed the deal, and Berger going ahead of me on 16 was the small moments that sometimes you need for a win. Berger going ahead of me and hitting it over the green, kind of sending me the message of not a full 9-iron, take it a little bit easy on it, was a key moment.
That's interesting. Yeah, and I agree with you. That whole location on 17 sucks. I was like, why are we using this on Sunday?
I mean, people don't realize on TV it just looks flat.
Yeah,
it's horrible. The greens are so fast. It gets swirly. The wind blows. I mean, it all goes towards the water. I mean, you feel like if you're hitting it with any pace past the hole, it's wet. Like TV doesn't do it justice.
No.
Like it's really horrible pin position, and it's not one where you want to come in with only a 1-shot lead or something trying to defend.
You miss that thing right on that hole off the tee, and you can get some very interesting decision making on chip shots.
You lay up.
Do I lay up on this chip? Do I take this thing on and chip in the water?
Can we talk about Jordan Spieth's
It was the
shot
sickest shot. That's the second one he's done out there.
I mean, you guys remember which shot I'm talking about? Right?
He hit it in the right gallery, was absolutely dead, and hit it to gimme. It was disgusting.
Unreal. Pitches it pretty close to the hole, 1 bounce spin to 3-4 feet. I mean, unbelievable. Like that's again why TV doesn't. I wish TV could make it look like more what it actually looks like in real.
I'm pretty sure 95% of the people on the PGA Tour would have hit that 30 feet left and short of the hole and just tried to make par and get out of there. And Jordan's just nah, I can just rip this one in there, spin it, and have a little tap in.
That was unbelievable. I don't know what his lie was like, but yeah, I mean, it was unreal. I mean, I would have hit it to 50 feet probably, just 3-putt from there, make bogey. Thank you very much. See you next year.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, it went from that right bunker, which I was standing right there, and to this day, I'm like, that. It wasn't the most monumental shot in terms he didn't win and that, but I was like, that might be the best shot I've ever seen in my life. That's right. 55-yarder, flew it all the way back there, 1-hop spin, boom, kick in more or less. It was a joke.
For the story, I played with Jordan last week at the Genesis, and I congratulated him on that shot. And then Michael, his caddy, told me, he's like, yeah, I mean, Jordan's literally hit 2 of his best chip shots he's ever hit in his life, and the one that's what Michael mentioned, that bunker shots on the right, and the one on Sunday were just out of this world.
Yeah,
he's the only guy that doesn't mind missing it right to that whole location.
Too.
And it's pretty bad miss. I'm not gonna lie. Off the tee, that's what? I mean, a good 40 yards right, but it's got the short game, so it's fine.
Yep. Well, obviously, a lot comes with the win. Tons of FedEx Cup points, money, some invitation to some special tournaments. I know you were already in the Masters this coming year, but the win definitely you're going to be making your first appearance at Augusta National. How excited are you to tee it up in your first Masters in just a few weeks?
Dude, let's go. I mean, it's kind of a dream come true, I mean, I've been to Augusta a couple of times, never played the golf course. I've already planned a little. First thing I did when I qualified was text a few members that I know, and I've organized a couple of generous members are taking me up to Augusta. So I'm playing Augusta on Monday the 17th after the Players in March, taking a little sneak peek to the place. First time I play it, so I honestly cannot wait. It'll be great. It's kind of a dream come true, and hopefully I can have a good week.
So you said you've been there. Was it for the tournament or
we used to play with college? We used to play Augusta State.
Yeah.
The Augusta State Invitational or whatever it's called. That golf course called Forest Hills, if I remember well, something like that. So we used to play that event, and then on the Monday, with all the team, we used to walk around on the property on Monday and watch some of the guys practice and warm up for the tournament. Which is pretty cool. So I do have a sense, but I remember the first time you get to Augusta, it's like, wow, when you walk, you see that first tee, 18th green, the second green. I mean, it's impressive. Like it really has this wow effect, you know.
Yep, and you're going to be making your debut there. That's a bucket list item for any tour player.
Have you guys played Augusta?
I have.
Yeah, Colt, he played it.
Colt, you have.
Yeah,
he killed it. He said there's nothing in it. It's just little. You just flick it around.
I played in November when the ball was plugging in every fairway, and I hit wood into every freaking hole. It felt like it was awesome. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you're gonna have a blast.
Thomas, up to 23rd in the official World Golf Rankings, like I said. And when you talk to other tour players about you, like I go back, I think there was a Justin Thomas quote where he was asked about you, and he said he's freakishly talented. Other tour pros look at you and say this kid is a world beater. Now that you're a tour winner, you know, top 25 in the world, how good do you think you can be? How good can Thomas Detry be at the end of the day?
Well, I mean, you know, top 10 in the world, contending in major, that's kind of how good I can be, really. You know, I showed that I can win on the PGA Tour. I finished 4th at the USPGA last year, which was kind of a nice little, like, kick in the back as well. You know, it was pretty cool to see that I can contend in major. I had a couple of good weeks in majors as well, but like top 4, you know, finishing top 4, I was kind of in the hunt, you know, Valhalla. I was never really like touching Bryson and Xander because they were a couple of shots ahead, but you know, I did well on a Sunday in a major, which is big, which was kind of a nice little boost of confidence, and it proved to me that I've got the game to do it. So you know, I'm not going to be that cocky guy who's going to say, yeah, I want to be number 1 in the world, because you know there's more to that. But you know, I want to be the type of player that just consistently like does well when he goes back to Europe, when consistently like contend in majors, put myself in positions again on the PGA Tour. So that's the type of player that I really want to be, and I think I'm on track for that.
Yeah, I mean, you've made 5 straight cuts in major championships. You got a T13 at the Open, T14 at the U.S. Open, and like you said, a T4 at the PGA. So I mean, your game is built for major championships.
Getting better, exactly right. Yeah, it's built for it, and like I said, I mean, that top 4 at Valhalla last year was big. You know, I was kind of having a little slump in my season last year, and then I finished 4th there, and it kind of kicked off my season, and it was a nice little boost last year, and then again, like it's a nice little boost to show that I was able to compete against the best, really. I mean, because that's where all the best play, and that's where all the pressure is on Sunday afternoon at a major, and it's pretty cool to do.
Yeah, there's no doubt you're one of the best in the world, but let's look ahead to September. There's this little event called the Ryder Cup.
Never heard about it.
I'm sure one of your goals this year at the start was to make that team, but have you heard from Captain Luke Donald at all? And how much is the Ryder Cup on your mind?
You know, I've had this question many times. I mean, the Ryder Cup is honestly, it's a dream come true. You know, I mean, I really want to be in the team, but I don't tee off every single week thinking, oh, I want to have a good week this week just because I want to make the Ryder Cup. You know, my goals are, like I said, just to consistently be good, to compete in majors, put myself in position to keep grinding, to keep getting better. When I go back to Europe, I want to contend out there as well, because I still love playing in Europe on the DP World Tour. So I think if I reach all these goals, Ryder Cup will just be a given, you know. But it was definitely, I mean, it was a nice little message. Again, we've got a nice couple of months ahead, and in the end, is whoever plays the best golf back in July and August who will be in the team. But it was a nice little message to Luke, showing him that I can win. I mean, with that crowd. I mean, that crowd is probably, it's going to get as close as it gets to what Bethpage will be, you know. I think Bethpage will be definitely crazier than Phoenix, but it's a pretty wild crowd in Phoenix already. So it was nice to see that I can do well under pressure with people shouting USA in my backswing, and yeah, hopefully I can be that guy on the team in September.
Yeah, I walked with Robert McIntyre on Sunday, and we were walking up the 14th, and I was like, do you like this atmosphere? Like, what do you think of this week? He goes, great prep for Bethpage. so
there we go. Yeah, I mean, Bob was a good friend of mine. Obviously, he played that Ryder Cup in Italy 2 years ago, so he's a bit more experienced. He knows what it's all about. But I think Bethpage, you know, I've never played a major in New York, but everybody tells me it's just crazy. It's freaking crazy. There's nothing like it. So I think a Ryder Cup at Bethpage will be. I actually don't know if I want to be on that team.
It'd be a hell of a place. A hell of a place to make your debut. Like, if you just go back to U.S. Opens that they've hosted there, and the amount of heckling goes on, and there's not like a home team and an away team in that scenario, right? It's just 156 golfers. This one has potential to be all time in terms of the environment.
Crazy. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, they're really nice and understanding up there in New York
Yeah,
when it comes to
people.
sports.
Friendly, especially. Yeah.
Very, very tolerant fans.
Yeah.
You know, they're very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, especially to Europeans. I got to ask you this. How about your old college teammate, Brian Campbell, picking up his first win on tour down in Mexico? And did you happen to get to watch the ending?
I was watching last 3 holes. I couldn't believe that playoff. I mean, everybody watched that playoff.
Yeah.
There was some really good golf. There was some really bad golf. It was just awesome to watch, you know. And Brian was, for some reason, my wife was watching and she was kind of betting on putt Geeter because he smokes it and everything. And I was like, you know, Brian has got a good chance. He's kind of a grinder like that. He hits in nowhere. I think I saw his drive on 18 into the wind on the first playoff hole. He hit it like 264 or something like
Nothing
that.
wrong with that, Thomas.
161 ball speed.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, no offense to you, Colt. No offense to you. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun to see that. And then the other extreme, I mean, putt Geeter is an absolute machine. I couldn't believe I saw his stats like 3 weeks ago, and he was just like, I think it was the Amex, and he was like 5-6 miles an hour quicker than anyone else on average during that week. I mean, Wyndham was behind. Everybody was behind him. It was like, what? How does that guy create so much speed? So it was pretty cool to see the differences between both of the guys. And I mean, Brian, what a finish! I mean, you guys all saw the finish. I hope everybody watched that finish because it was just crazy. That drive OB comes back, crazy.
There needs to be a little plaque on that tree. That's the Brian Campbell tree from now on.
Whoever cuts it down will hear from me and Coach Mole. And, you know what I mean?
That's cool.
But you know, when that bull came back and I know Brian's short game and his putting, I told my wife, I was like, if putt Geeter doesn't hit the green here, it's big time advantage for Brian. And he hit a great shot. Putt Geeter hit a great shot, just short, and he was a little bit shaky in his short game. And I was like, watch this space. And obviously Brian hit the fairway with his layup and hit it to like 4 feet for birdie. And then obviously puts pressure on Aldrich, the young South African, and then the rest is history. But it was, I mean, it's so cool for Brian when you know where it comes from. You know, he got his PGA Tour kind of thing in 2017. He's been grinding on Corn Ferry for so long. And he's just a grinder. You know, doesn't really have the Rory McIlroy type game, but he's a grinder. He's got a great short game. He's good with his irons. You know, it's awesome to see someone like that win on the PGA Tour too.
Yeah, it's cool to see someone change their life.
Yeah,
like you win
changer.
on the PGA Tour, you're going to go on to win more probably. Like, it doesn't necessarily change your life. I would say you're already in the Masters, you know, but like this one for him, like those don't happen much anymore on tour.
I know. No, it's not. And no offense to Brian, but Brian is a great player. But you know, like that's kind of what I was thinking. You know, like I don't know. I hope Brian's going to have many more opportunities to win tournaments, but it sounds like that Aldrich Port Geeter is the next big thing. You know, he's probably going to win many more tournaments. So like that win for Brian is just extra special because it's kind of his first time that he's in contention, and boom, he does it. You know, Port Geeter is going to be around for a long time as well, and I don't feel bad for him because he's such a good player, still young, and he's going to be back.
Yeah, for sure.
20 and hitting at 190 plus ball speed, things will be just fine.
All right.
Unreal. 193, 194, just consistent.
Every time. Yeah.
He's a big boy.
He is. I need
he
strengthen that grip a little bit, TD, and that's how you hit it further. That's what he does. I'm going to start doing it.
I mean,
shut face.
Yeah.
He sees every knuckle on that left hand. It is wild. And his rotation is just incredible. He's a freak. All right, let's get to the E9. We're going to do this again with you. We've had some fun with you in the past. It's going to be an E8 this time because we already know the answer to our first question. So my first E9 will be, I want to start with the green glove. Okay. You wore it Saturday and Sunday at Phoenix Open. Was that just kind of homage to, hey, the WM Phoenix Open, the green out on Saturday, but then you followed it up with Sunday. What was that all about?
You know, the green glove, I get it out. Just kind of a crowd pleaser, you know. I mean, people were actually giving me a lot of shit for that. Like, hey, what's that green glove for? You know, like all day long, I hear American drunk guys kind of shouting at me for the green glove. So I almost changed it. But no, I just waste management, kind of the color of the tournament, you know. I know Charlie Hoffman wears a green glove as well. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put the green glove on, kind of represent the tournament, and it's fun, you know. That's kind of what G4, my sponsor, is all about. They give me these different things, and I think it makes a difference. You know, you see everybody always with the same type pair of shoes and the same white glove and having a little color. I think it doesn't necessarily have to match my outfit, but just having a color sticking out. And that week was a green week, so I think that was pretty cool.
Hey, well, you won by 7. Tiger's got the red shirt. Maybe Thomas Detry has the green glove on Sundays from now on.
Why not? It's actually a very good point. I never thought about that. I'm a little bit suspicious, but you got in my head now. So
just give it a go.
That. And tell Charlie to fuck off, find a different color of glove. This is mine now.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, I'll stay back on that topic we were just talking about. Brian Campbell, you picked up your first win. He picked up his first win. Both from the University of Illinois. Who is the next professional winner? Could be on any tour. Doesn't have to be the PGA Tour. From the University of Illinois.
Who's the next one? Well, I'm gonna have to say Adrian Dumont. You know, he lost his card. Adrian Dumont de Chassard. He's got kind of a long name. Belgian guy. He lost his card and kind of gained membership for that DP World Tour. And he's still young. You know, he just turned pro like not even a year ago. He was already on the PGA Tour last year, and he just lost his card. So I think going back to the Corn Ferry will do him good. He's going to learn a ton of stuff, and he's 100% going to be back next year. Maybe in 2 years' time. We'll see how long it takes him to come back. But I think he could be the next first-time winner for you know. He's got the game for it, 100%.
Big talent.
Yeah,
from what I hear,
everyone raves about him. It was kind of surprising to see him struggle last year, I thought.
Yeah. You know, we've got the same coach, and Adrian is a great guy, but you know, kind of young guy mistakes. He gets a little bit stubborn sometimes and panics a lot, you know, when things. I mean, he stripes it. Honestly, he stripes it, and he's ball fades an extra meter, an extra yard, and he kind of calls my coach and in panic mode. I'm drawing the ball. You know, he's a little bit like that sometimes. But you know, I think it's all going to come back to him, and he's got the game. He's been under Coach Schmoll, so whoever has spent 4 years with Coach Schmoll will not struggle in life. Coach is a great guy, and Adrian 100% will be the next winner.
All right.
Belgium got some talent.
Yeah. All right, next one. We mentioned the crazy crowd at the WM Phoenix Open, but credit to them. They were pretty well behaved this year. But I do want to know the craziest thing you heard either yelled at you or somebody else out there while you were playing.
You know what the craziest one was last year? I remember on the first tee I think it was on Friday, on Saturday, someone was actually there with either his wife or his girlfriend and shouted at me something like, "Hey Thomas, my girlfriend wants you," or something like that.
Hell yeah.
That was Colt.
we actually have that in common.
That was Colt.
Pass me your number.
Yeah. Sounds like we both have a hall pass.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah,
you don't know what that's like, Sleaze.
I was like, well, it was definitely in Phoenix this week. Yeah, it was a pretty funny comment from the guy. I hope it wasn't his wife, but the guy was clearly a bit drunk. But you know,
it's a nice little confidence booster though. Standing on the first tee, like, no matter what, at least this dude's chick wants to bang me. You know, that's pretty cool. Even if I shoot 80, she probably don't care.
Yeah.
No.
All right, my next one's stupid. I'm gonna ask it anyways. Rank the following 3 things in terms of how much they are beloved in Belgium, okay? 1, beer. 2, waffles. 3, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Go.
Ooh, good one. I mean, stupid. You cannot go wrong with beer, number 1, 100%. I mean, we're the king of the beer. We've got the best beer. American beer is just piss. No offense to you guys. It's not what, honestly, it's disgusting. I occasionally have a Coors Light just because someone has offered it to me, and it's like, what is this? Seriously.
American beer is piss.
You know what? Actually, I've got cousins. I've got cousins who started some sort of microbrewery in Brussels, and it's really cool. And I'll try to bring some beers for you guys next time. Yeah. I'm kind of invested in it as well. I mean, I've got a bit of a skin in the game in it, so it's pretty cool to kind of have your own beer. I mean, I'm not really part of it, but I've put a little bit of money to help them out at the start, and I'll try to bring some proper beer for you guys.
What's the name of it?
It's called Brasserie Surrealiste. Surreal brasserie in a way.
Okay, we're gonna need
surreal brewery. Sorry,
we're gonna need a nickname or something for it.
Drink a few and you'll sound like that. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, you mentioned the waffles. How would you grade the waffles at Waffle House?
Waffles to Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's a good one. I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme is well renowned. I mean, everybody loves him. You know, he's a stud.
He's a badass.
Lionheart, dude.
I'd put Van Damme in front of the waffles.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit. Tough day for waffles. That's Belgian waffles. First thing you think of. Jean-Claude, though, is actually the first. Yeah.
How would you grade the waffles at Waffle House?
Gosh, Waffle House. When was the last time I went to Waffle House with Coach once and the team? I mean, that place is a proper dump, isn't it?
Yeah. How would you rate? More importantly, how would you rate the environment at a Waffle House?
I'm not allowed to say that in front of all your listeners. Sorry. Gosh, I don't really remember going to Waffle House, but I just remember the sticky tables, and that's pretty much what I remember. I don't remember the waffle at all, so it's not a good sign.
I think there's a lot of yellow sticky tables.
I think for our next episode, we should shoot Subpar live from Waffle House with some Coors Lights.
Oh yeah, everything you love.
Well, I'll still be in Punta Cana in Dominican Republic. Don't worry.
All right, fine, fair. All right, my next one, Augusta National, week of. You can pick any 3 other guys in the field to play a practice round with. Who are you picking?
Tiger, Jordan Spieth, and Scotty.
Love it.
Good.
I think these 2 guys, yeah. I mean, Tiger, I've never actually really met Tiger, to be honest, so I don't really know him. But it seems like he knows a thing or two from at Augusta.
Yeah, they got 8 green jackets between them.
And, just Jordan and Scotty, just because we can talk baby all day. So, he just got 2 young babies. No, he's got 1 young baby. I've got babies as well. So, that's kind of what our wives talk about. So I feel like we can talk about babies all day,
Jordan got a 3rd on the way.
On the way, yeah, Jordan got a 3rd on the way, yeah.
Little Sammy's
very brave.
Little Sammy's got to be like, hey, that's enough. You're cutting into my inheritance over here.
Let's chill out, guys. All right. Next one, Thomas. As winner of the Phoenix Open, let's just say next year, you were able to choose 1 musical act to perform at the Bird's Nest. Who are you bringing in?
That should be a thing, actually.
That would be good.
We should just bring Tomorrowland to the Bird's Nest. You guys heard of Tomorrowland?
Tomorrowland?
Right?
No, I'm unfamiliar. Are you familiar?
That's a big DJ electronic music thing, EDM thing.
It's the biggest. It's the biggest DJ festival in the world.
Yeah.
Like everybody's been there. Like honestly, like I'm surprised you don't know. You've never heard about it.
I've seen some stuff on it.
We're not very cultured.
We should just bring like Special Life Tomorrowland from the Bird's Nest. That's what it should be. Yeah, I think that. So, I mean, if you're asking me for 1 artist, I'm just gonna go with this young Belgian guy who I went to school with called Lost Frequencies. Have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
DJ?
No. DJ, yeah, pretty famous guy. I'm sure you've heard some of his tunes. Called Lost Frequencies. The guy is a stud. He's my age, is a stud. He's pretty famous.
Might need to look into that. We always have one of those guys, and they got the big ones.
Just type in his name. Here is #1 song. 100% you've heard of it.
I'm going to do that when we finish.
Done. Lost Frequency.
Lost Frequencies. Belgian guy from Brussels.
All right. Well, there you go. Make sure you book that next year.
I got that.
Because Sleaze is involved. He is a Thunderbird, and I don't know if you knew this, but he was your player liaison at the WM Phoenix Open. I need to know how he did, if you requested anything special from the liaison.
Well, he clearly didn't do a good job because I didn't even know he was my player liaison.
Unbelievable.
That's the best liaisons that you don't know. We're behind the scenes guys.
No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys. I mean, Thunderbird. You guys put up an amazing. I don't know how you guys do to like host an event like that. Honestly,
they don't either.
You show up there on Monday, and he's like, "They what? Say it again."
They don't know what they're doing either. They don't know how it all happens.
Yeah, somehow just shows up, and everyone goes around. You were one of my favorite players, by the way. You were one of a good amount, actually, that I didn't hear a peep from in the entire week. So shout out to you. You went even higher up my list of favorite players.
Perfect. Awesome. No, I mean, you guys, honestly, you guys put up, jokes apart, you guys put up an amazing tournament. I mean, it's really cool to see that amount of people, the atmosphere, everything. It's just getting better every year as well, No, it's really cool. Thanks.
You're on it. You're on it for forever. Where did you park in the Thunderbird trophy? Did I go back home to Dubai?
No, it's actually gone back to my in-laws back in London. Mm-hmm. I think that's where I keep my trophy cabinet. We got a house in London as well, so I think that's where it's all going.
Beautiful. Well, congratulations. You're a great winner. By the way, you got 55 new fans that you didn't have before for making that thing a runaway victory and not ending in a playoff. So every dude that shook your hand afterwards was genuinely happy for you. I can promise you.
Right.
Promise you that. All right, my last question, Thomas. If you'll think back, last time we had you on, we did a little stock tip because I know you're You're a guy keeps tabs on the markets, right? Your 2 stock recommendations last time. I'm going to go over them with you right now.
Oh, no, I really do remember. One is not actually really well. The other one is not good.
Exactly. You're on it. You gave us Palo Alto. By the way, you did say, do you want like long-term or home run ball? And we said, of course, home run ball. So, you get what you get. Palo Alto Networks, though, up 45%.
Let's go.
In the last 12 months. That's what we're talking about.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Then we got Arcturus Therapeutics down roughly 50%. But
break even. We'll call it break even.
Yeah, you sell out of that early. You probably didn't participate in all of it and roll it into Palo Alto. Bam. But my question is, what's next? Give us another. You got a new one.
Let me just see like all the stocks that I'm following because I'm just gonna have a quick peek at nothing comes up to mind right now. You know what? I think Arcturus Therapeutics is not a good buy. Like it's lost so much and it's just a solid one. They've just got their vaccines approved in Europe. I know they've got a big drug coming up called against cystic fibrosis. So I mean, it's a bit more risky because it's a biotech company, so it goes a little bit more crazier. But if someone wants to make quick cash in the next couple of months, that could be the one.
It's cheap right now.
Double down.
Don't take advice from me on this because I'm not a professional. But I do quite like to follow that, and I actually know the people from Arcturus. I went to see their offices, which is right next to Torrey Pines, and it's pretty impressive what they're doing. So I'd still put some more money, and. Who knows? You might lose it all after.
Good. This dude get a little insider info for us. Feed it back to us. Boom, ipso, and then we become rich.
We're gonna see him on TV in a couple weeks with Arctis Therapeutic on his sleeve, and we're like, oh, this all makes sense now.
You're gonna be in that same jail cell with Martha Stewart.
I'd go not because they sponsor me, but Hugo Boss is actually great stock. I mean, the company's been doing great. They've been having this. They've got this new. David Beckham face now. Have you seen the picture of David Beckham half naked wearing Boss underwear? It's kind of the new.
He's got a poster of it in his room. Can't get away from the fucking picture.
Well, but Boss, I like the brand, and I think they are doing really well. And the only thing is that they kind of listed on the European market, which is not. It just hasn't done that well as the American market. So I think the company is doing great, but I don't think it's going to go up as much as all those US listed stock, if that makes sense.
This is good analysis.
Well, we will do this again in 1 year and see how your stock tips go this time. But man, your golf stock is going up and up and up. It has been fun to watch, man. We're so happy for you for that dominating win and look forward for more to come in the future. And it's always fun catching up with you, Thomas.
See you guys. Thanks so much for having me. Hopefully, let's rendezvous next year again, 12 months time.
We'll see you at Augusta.
Yeah, we'll see you at Augusta.
Bring some of that Belgian beer with you.
Yeah. All right.
You know what? I won't have it by then, but next time, maybe the playoffs or something like that. Next time I go back to Belgium, guarantee you guys, I'll bring you a case.
Love
Done.
it.
Homemade Belgian beer.
You're our guy. All right, that interview with Thomas Detry was brought to you by Zone. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Underage sale is prohibited. Introducing Zone nicotine pouches, the perfect balance of unparalleled comfort, longer-lasting flavor, and nicotine that satisfies. Whether you're zoning in for an important putt or zoning out after a tough day at work, Zone gets you there faster and keeps you there longer. Available in 7 flavors and in 6 and 9 milligram strengths. Find Zone at zonepouches.com and retailers near you. Own your Zone with Zone nicotine pouches.
Yeah. Well, it was good to have Thomas Detry back, obviously the stock expert. Gave you one winner, one not the best, but he's still very high on it. But what a performance that was at the WM Phoenix Open for him to finish off the way he did, birding 15, 16, 17, and 18. Honestly, probably the best shot by a leader on 16 on Sunday we've ever seen there at the Coliseum. But, man, we've always talked about how talented this guy is. If he could just learn to relax a little bit on the golf course, believe in himself a little bit, there's no telling where he could be. This is a guy, in my opinion, I think we're probably going to see up at Bethpage as well over on the European team at the Ryder Cup. But that golf swing is beautiful. He just handled himself like he'd done it 1,000 times.
I mean, when you watch him play, especially like at Phoenix Open, of course, where he ran away with it, but when you watch that golf swing and the way he putted that week, do you not look at it and be like, how does anyone beat this guy ever? I mean, it looks perfect. Like, between he and Ludwig, in terms of like Europeans that are like good-looking dudes with perfect golf swings, they got some good stuff going for him, and like he's loaded with talent. And it does sound like, in talking with him, like he's kind of coming off being as hard on himself as he's been in years past, and his good golf is extremely good. And you mentioned the Ryder Cup. I think he'll be there. You look at the back half of the European team, which their depth has been like the one thing you question in Ryder Cups historically. Between Thomas Detry, you got Rasmus Højgaard starting to play really good golf. How about David Puig could potentially be a rookie on that team? They're rounding out that kind of back six on that European Ryder Cup team in a very nice fashion.
Yeah, but it was fun catching up with him. I'm a big fan of Thomas Detry. A lot of fun to catch up with him again. All right, before we wrap up here, it's time to make some picks for the players. Arguably the best field in all of professional golf. 48 of the top 50 will be teeing it up at TPC Sawgrass. This is
Who we got?
This is going to be interesting. I'm running hot. 3 out of 5 so far to start the year, and I'm going to stick with my top 10 bets. I'm going with a guy who's so far this year, he's finished top 10 in 3 of his 6 starts. He's a past Players champ, won in 2021. I know he loves this golf course. Plus 185 to top 10. Give me my man JT, Justin Thomas.
Saw that, almost took it.
Second time this year I've took him in our top 10 bet. And If you remember, much like Chris Demon, he holed out on the last hole to get us there.
Birdie, then hole out to get you that one. That's what you do. That's how you close. Looked at him. I just didn't know that it was juicy enough for a top 10. I'm going to a top 20 route here, and I'm going with Patrick Cantlay, who, by the way, is getting about the same odds, plus 180 on that. Couple top 5s on the season, Amex, Genesis. Played a nice final round at the API, a 69 in tough conditions. Just had a little bit of a tough second and third round there. He could have had a pretty nice week, but when he gets going, surgical. Sawgrass, a great place for him. Give me Patty Ice. Let's try to go back-to-back for the kid, plus 180.
All right, see if he can control his emotions.
Yeah, he's got to chill out a little bit, dude. Stop running. Exactly.
All right, well, the Players' Championship is one of the best weeks of the year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hoping for some carnage out there. I want it to play extremely tough, a lot like the API, but everybody enjoy the Players, and we'll talk to you on next week's Subpar.